So, if the 15 folk are just going to come on, I'll just continue jamming along with this until there's one of you. Yay! Hello, it's working. Great stuff. I don't know what happened there. I'm not very yeah. I was thinking something like that. Maybe people don't want to talk to me anymore. Hey, Caveman, Craig, Daniel. Great stuff. Welcome. Fantastic. So what I was saying there, I've just fitted a sustainer, like one of the cheaper Indonesian-made sustainers to this Matt Bellamy guitar. I don't think it is a Manson. I think it's the Cort version. Hey, Dal. I was thinking of you earlier on. What was it? My girlfriend was looking up that synth you've got that's kind of looks like a Nintendo steering wheel. It's like a white thing. I was trying to find a demo for that because she said it looked cool. Yeah, so running it with this, I did have, it's got a kill switch in it, which I made to do something funny before, and I haven't connected everything up again. This is a coil choice switch, which chooses which of the two coils you listen to. Hey, Dava, you're not falling asleep yet. Zoom Arc 96 sounds right. Arc as in arc reactor. Yeah, totally. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, so we've got a coil choice switch here. This is just a kill switch, just turns the guitar off. This is the two modes of the sustainer. I realise now I'm standing here. So coil choice, on, off. The two modes of the sustainer, I don't know what the two of them are called, because you probably read the instructions. And then sustainer on. It does a wee fancy trick. Hey, Sibbit. Yeah, Andrew, yes, your guitar's here. So here's your four knobs in a row. See, it could be done. You need to get your Letraset, your Dymo labeler out to get these labelled. I don't know what you're going to label them at. So it is... on. See, it's hard to tell. It's quite a sustaining guitar. Now it's on. Hey, Pontiac! I definitely think the battery in this is going though. I couldn't find a fresh battery, but it seems to be doing it an awful lot better when I just turned it on there. I think the amount of battery power it's in just now, it seems to work really well for the first 10 seconds, and then it kind of starts to fade on a little bit. Hey, Ruben. So, that's it off. So, what I found quite interesting was the pickup selector still seems to work. So you've got bridge pickup and then neck pickup, which doesn't really sound that different when you get that amount of fuzz on. So there's your bridge, and there's your in the middle position. Don't think it does any different in the middle position. So what it's doing is this isn't a pickup anymore. There is one you can get, which is like a humbucker, which has got like a single coil pickup and the sustainer thing. So what this is doing here is a wee sort of cheat. It's got a cap, like a sort of like what's on your tone control, going across the going across the bridge pickup to make it sound more like a bridge pickup. So you, even though you don't actually have a neck pickup, I can still select it. So bridge and then neck. It's kind of doing that. Hey, Neon Titjita. Hey, Rocket. Yeah, they're fine. Like the shape guitar. Headstock is cool as well. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of grown on me. It's one of those ones that kind of looks like too much of the guitars up here and not enough's down here. When I first saw it, but now I'm kind of used to looking at it. It's pretty cool. This is the one that Andrew had this great idea of putting this blue light up piping all the way around the guitar. It actually matches this lead. Had it all going up the sides, and the thing, you could play around it no problem, and it looked fantastic. But as soon as you plugged into an amp, it just went nah, because something to do with whatever it was running the blue LED just didn't like pickups, and it was just like I said, make the guitar sound like a siren, but not in a good way. Sounds good clean. When watching a demo, I want to hear the guitar clean. But does the sustainer work when it's clean? Not as much, I don't think. Yeah, the sustainer's not as good when it's in clean. But then again, I think the battery's going in this very much. It's still doing something. Is it on? Luckily, it's got this big blue light bulb on it, so you can tell when it's on. Yeah, so it's not. It just doesn't work as well. The sustainer doesn't work as well on clean. It's still sort of doing it. Maybe if I had the volume of the guitar, the amp up much louder, it'd be fine. Yeah, I think you want. I think maybe a little bit harder to control when you've got it on clean. I wanted to buy an EV tonight. Well, there was two things that went today, and I didn't buy either of them. Actually, I've been losing. Hold on, talking about losing my touch. Where's my bucky? Where's my bucky? Right there we go. I could probably turn that around to face me a little bit more. What was I saying there? Oh, eBay. I missed a Washburn Force 3 last night. I got a text message from one of the guys I fix guitars for saying, "Oh, you buying this?" And it was like 10 minutes to go. Washburn Force 3. I'd not seen it. And then the same thing happened earlier on. My pal James says, "Oh, you're going to buy that A5?" I was like, "What A5?" It's a Washburn Stage Series. And it was 10 minutes to go as well. And both of them completely passed me by. I did sneaky bids on both, but because I hadn't really had much time to think about it, a wee bit of a knee-jerk reaction, they kind of went more for what I think they still went for a decent price. Like if you're looking for a guitar, but not what I was wanting to pay. I was wanting to pay half what they're worth, type thing. And that didn't work with either of them. Also, there was a Grant bass that went earlier on that also rocketed up in price. It's like, I don't know, people rocketing up in price. So okay now, yes. Jess, how's it going? I take it that wasn't. Hey Stephen, how's your t-shirts? Here's one of the t-shirts that failed. This was I think you can still actually buy this, but I never really set up the thing properly. Is it Zazzle or something like that? There's still a couple of those t-shirts left. If anyone's wanting a t-shirt, give me a shout at there I suppose, remember, or at Mad Malco Guitars on the Facebook. So as I was saying, I was looking up. I've got these Grant guitars, which I can probably actually get to. Put a stereo socket in this, so when you unplug it, the battery definitely doesn't run down. There's obviously going to be stuff on top of this. Just wrap around the cable going to the telly, so can I lift it up? I can. It's quite dusty though. This, which I really like. There was a bass version of this in blue, and I've got this in this colour, the same guitar in silver, and the same colour as this, but with two pickups. And then a nice one would be to get the blue bass. What kind of put me off a little bit, apart from the price, was it was a fretless bass. It would give me an excuse to buy it, I suppose, because I don't actually have a fretless bass. But the reason I don't have a fretless bass is because I had one for years and never liked it, never played it. I did actually gig with it, but if anyone's after, I was going to sell this to fund the bass. If anyone's after a super duper guitar, I kind of want to sell this, but I kind of want to sell it for what it's worth, not like a pure super mega bargain price. The bass ended up going for 190 something. Something like that. I was thinking kind of half that, really, if I'm honest. But that's the Sunday night thing. Got a few folk walking. What does anyone think of? Anyone think about me changing this to a Saturday night or a Friday night instead? Or is it Sunday best? It's just that I keep an awful lot of eBay things end on a Sunday night, and I'm sure you're all watching them as well. Also, that's when quite a lot of bargainy things kind of pop up. I actually bought I'll check it tonight. Big screen, chatting on the tablet, going for the dual screen mode. Very good, yeah. I do run dual screens myself. I've got my super new monitor screen. Thanks, Dava, who's on here, to help me set this thing up. So I've got like a Logic, I don't know what size that is, about that size screen there with a camera on top of it, so I can see myself. And then that's and that one as well. So it's running two screens at the same time. Technology, hey, amazing. Saturday better till gigs start again. Okay, that sounds fair enough. Because I was thinking, you know what I'm doing on Friday or Saturday night because that's when everyone's at the pub, but nobody's at the pub. Maybe be a good idea for Friday nights for drinking night, so you can drive on a Monday. There is that. So you can I could just get pissed on a Friday or Saturday night rather than get pissed on a Sunday. Also in dual screen mode. Yes, dual screen mode. It took me a while to work it out. It was much easier than it should have been. It was like I was thinking it was going to be far harder than it actually turned out to be. I see I framed it a little bit so you can actually see my mic. So I need to just probably have looked at it a little bit more. I don't know what happened with the live stream earlier on when nobody was talking. I saw that for a laugh. That was silly. Yeah, so whoever it was, actually the guy, I don't know the chances of her watching here, the guy who bought the Force 3 commented on my YouTube video from a Force 3. I noticed it was at, like, it kind of went ping about an hour after the thing had ended, and I thought, nah, it's quite, what are the chances of someone pointing out that video when they just bought it? And I could see the start of the message, you know, it says, blah, 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 it's got a message, it's like, hi, I just bought a Force 3, I think I've met you before, I bought a Yamaha Bay, and then that was it, and then when I clicked on it, it just didn't exist. So that happens quite a lot with comments I get in videos, so see if I don't comment or even thumbs up it at all, it probably means I haven't seen it, unless it was a sarcastic comment and I just ignored it. But I mean, if it's just like so if that does happen and I don't get back to you within like that night, maybe just try and post it again or something. I don't know. It's bizarre because I can see the message. It says, you know, notifications, and it gives me the first line of the text, but when you click on it, it's gone. And I've looked in the inappropriate filter page and all that, and it just seem to completely disappear. What number's on your bucky? It's number 7. That's maybe something's quite good. Hey, happy days. Watching from Liverpool. Hey, across the border. We're up here, up norther, where we get the blue flag. Yeah, so next week, Saturday night, so everyone can get drunk. Although, to be fair, I keep ending up pure plastered by 9 o'clock and kind of in bed by 10:30, so I'm probably okay to drive in the morning anyway. If I was driving tomorrow, and I'm not. Well, actually, I'm good. Tomorrow's my, again, not managing to do much trading in the Trade Tuesday, but I bought a base. If anyone was on the best of the Facebook buy and sell groups, music gear buy and sell Central Scotland or something it's called. If you click on it, it's the one that's got a Marshall amp as a sort of title page. That one's pretty good. And it was some. I just saw that, but it was crap bass. It's like, it's a comment was something like, "Do you fancy starting a new instrument at the absolute lowest quality level possible?" And I was like, "Yeah, I like it." So I'm going to go and pick it up tomorrow. And the guy said it was like, "Yeah, I can come pick it up tomorrow." He's in Edinburgh. He was driving over to Glasgow tonight, he said, but with all this running about and all this, I thought I'll just fancy a wee drive. Need to get a wee bit of shot in the car tomorrow anyway. So it's a cheetah bass, and the guy's reply was like, "Oh, you're going to make it into a bucky caster?" So it's like, my fame precedes me again. And that's in Edinburgh, which is far away. So I'm going to go and get it particularly. You set up your account so that notifications are emailed to you. You get to see the whole comment. Folk may be changing their mind. I wonder why. Yeah, I wonder why. I would imagine. But people, I don't know. Yeah, anyway. But what the guy said was, this is the guy who I remember the white Yamaha bass. This is my last house. And I was talking to him as I was showing the bass. And I was like, I got another one. And I was like, and this is when I had the staircase that had all the guitars on it. So I think it was 20 or something like that, going up the staircase. And the guy was actually shaking. Because it was like, most people, when you see my guitar collection, there's lots of it, are kind of like pure, oh, I don't know what any of these are. You know, it's like, oh, there's a Gibson SG sort of thing. And this guy was just like that pure, that's a Falcon. That's an A10. Is that an Ibanez Roadster? And he could pure name every single one of them on the way up the stairs. And then he was kind of a bit jittery. And then about, I don't know, 45 minutes later, I got a text message off him apologising because he was totally overwhelmed with the number of guitars I had that he used to want, that he knew what they all were because he wanted them when he was a kid. So he actually made the point of texting, going, sorry, I got a bit jittery. You kind of overwhelmed me and I got a bit panicky. I've been thinking about it all the way driving home and stuff. You know, because I had like the washburns and all that stuff. Quite funny. Get your chips and salt and sauce. Well, is that what you wonder? I wonder if I could film that sneakily. Just have a GoPro on my head. That salt and sauce. I can't remember exactly how many bucky casters there are. There's another 2 in the garage that I just haven't had time to get onto because some guy gave me a really annoying guitar that I've had to route and stuff like that and put a sustainer in, which is taking time. I think it's 30. The one that I found surprising was the number of Rain Man moment. Yeah, I think I just exist with Rain Man moments. I think the Iron Brews is nearly 30, and it's like the Bucky Casters is 30, something like that. Was that page Music Gear Sales Scotland? It's hard to tell because they're yeah, that sustainer guy's a knob, really. Actually, the reason I've got the guitar back, I tried to do something which I'm still not 100% sure it's technically possible. You've got a kill switch, right? And I did before on my pal Jerry's Flying V. I put 2 kill switches in. One just basically turned the whole guitar off, and the other one bypassed the volume control. So you could technically, if you had the guitar set at half volume, right, and you were just going like that, you could tap these 2 buttons and it would go between half volume, which is set to, turning it off and putting it to full button. So I was thinking at the end of the song, you could kind of go and go, and it would kind of stutter and jump. But what I've tried to do with this one is make it the same switch. So if you pull up the tone control, which isn't in it just now, instead of making a kill switch, it makes it a live switch. So the guitar is off. You play your note, you press the button, it comes on. I will have another go at it, but what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to have a go at it and make it work here before I fit it into the guitar. I'm not sure whether... I'm sure it was sort of working, but I'm just not sure the principle was perfect. And yeah, that kind of... been to some old kramers used to go over along. I tried to... Kramerless. Kramers are a funny one. I do actually have a Kramer. I've got a Kramer Focus 3000, which I got in Victor Morris, and I don't normally talk bad of people, but I really didn't like this guy at all. The guy who works in Victor Morris. I think he was the guy. It might have been Victor Morris's son. Something. Babylon 5 or Battlestar Galactica t-shirt, glasses, and just a face you wanted to slap. Him. I remember going in there, and they used to do this great thing around about Christmas, when they just like have all the guitars that were in bits and they couldn't the board fixing, and I saw this Kramer in there. It was 20 quid. The scratch plate was gone, no pickup, no bridge. Still had the tuners, the frets were quite damaged. And I tried to buy it, and it was just 20 quid. And the guy was such an arse, I had to just go, ugh! Just left it in the counter and stormed out. And then on the way home, I told my pal, I was like, yeah, really bought a Kramer. I just can't stand that guy. And then the following week when I went to see my pal, he'd gone into town and bought it for me. So that's my Kramer. Ironbrew Caster 17. Actually, someone asked me the other day about Bucky Caster number 12 and if I could remember what it was. And it's like, I have no idea. I don't remember what 17 is either. But if I sent it to Aberdeen, then I should remember it, really, shouldn't I? I don't know. I need to do an updated list of all the Bucky Casters. I'd probably do it, like, see if I did it on Instagram. Once I eventually get a new phone, having like a folder of all of them, so you don't have to watch the videos, but you can actually just flick through one picture of each of the Bucky Casters. It'd be quite a good reference to see what I've done before, because originally the main plan was to... I'm going to open the window. It's getting hot. It's the only Ironbrew telly. There is only Ironbrew telly. I remember it now, yes. Yeah. Guy who wanted a sustained pickup shouldn't cheat. Oh. Yeah. I don't know. It's just, they've obviously got some sort of patent. I don't think there's that much to it, because when you actually look at the circuit board, it's kind of... It's got a chip and a variable resistor. This thing has obviously not been set up either, so I mean that variable resistor's variable for a reason for setting it up. 4 capacitors, a chip, some wee yellow things. I think they're caps. Got couple of resistors. You know, it's not that, maybe 10, 15 components on it. So there's not that much to it. I'm not really sure exactly what the actual pickup is either. I'm not sure whether you can actually make the pickup. I mean, is it just a pickup that you put voltage through, which makes it vibrate? These are questions I should ask. But I mean, if I could make them, I would totally make them and fit them. Good fun. Kind of difficult. Yeah, I wish I could understand the technology a bit more, but I really have to say that if you've ever had an EBO or fancied one, I was playing trying to play the EBO bit and Gimme Shelter at the start of the stream before it all, when there was nobody talking. It's much total different kettle of fish from an EBO. An EBO, 10 minutes before I was just like, this is just, I don't want it. You know, it's like you have to hold it, and it's really difficult to use. That thing, it's just basically all you have to do is stop playing. So you just go da da da, and then you can kind of hear it coming in. The one on the proper Fernandez one that I fixed in my pal Alex's Explorer was much better than that, but I think that's because the battery on that's flat. It seemed to be kind of go ding, and then you would hear it coming in. That one doesn't seem to do it quite as much, but the battery being flat, I should probably have tested it with the multimeter rather than my tongue. But it's like you can hold your tongue on it, and in a good quality, a good charged battery, you can't hold it onto your tongue. You can kind of go oop, oop. So it's kind of dead. Oh. Sustainer circuit is basically a mini amp. It creates an electromagnetic field to cause the strings to vibrate. Sounds technical. I do remember the one, Alex's one. I think I fitted a stereo jack socket onto it because I was playing away with it, and then I sat it on the wall, just like hanging up there, and then like a minute later, it was just like, oh, and it was like the guitar wasn't plugged into anything. It was just on the wall vibrating, and see, because it was vibrating, I don't know, the open A or something, it was making all the guitars do it. It was kind of a wee bit of a freaky moment. Yeah, I think it's just a lot. It must somehow be like an electromagnet that somehow makes the strings vibrate. I mean, how does it's basically an EBO. It's basically an EBO, apart from instead of having to hold it in your hand, it's just where that pickup should be. There is a different version where you get like one that looks like a humbucker, and it's kind of, I don't think you can use like the normal coil of the humbucker while you've got the sustainer on, but I think it means that when you get the sustainer off, you get a neck pickup, an actual neck pickup, as opposed to this, which has its sort of faux neck pickup, which is fair enough. It's a different tone, isn't it? What's going to be interesting, this one because it's got the coil split, I think that's going to give you, it's going to work with it as well. I'm not really sure exactly what I'm going to do with this. I just wanted to make it work. There's an absolute pig cutting it out, so I had to, there's the battery compartment, and then I had to extend that because I wanted the four things in a line, even though they're not in a line going straight to the volume control, they're in a line, which kind of looks all right. Yeah, I looked up. There's a DIY sustainer I saw a video for, and it was like it might have been the same guy actually. It was like a young, was it the Philippines or something like that? A young chap had one, and he was making it, and it, I don't know whether maybe he just wasn't very good at demonstrating what it should do. But you kind of watch this video for, make a sustainer for $10 or whatever it was, and it never really made me want to buy one. Oh. Fernandez is 300 quid. Well, so I think like a lot of these things, the trick is just to buy a guitar that's already got it in it. I know Alex paid a ridiculous amount for his Explorer, like kind of like me buying that MIDI guitar. I bought it for a cheap price for the guitar if it wasn't a MIDI guitar, but the MIDI part didn't work. Whereas I think that's what happened with this Explorer. It's like the guitar itself is fantastic. If it didn't have the sustainer in it, it would have been a few hundred quid, because it's just it's a really nice set neck Explorer. Whereas when it's got the sustainer in it, that doesn't work. It's not working properly, so you got it for peanuts. Humber don't actually have a humbucker pickup in them at all. It's a dummy coil. All right, basically, it's just basically because to fill the hole because you've got a humbucker in the neck. I assumed it was like it could use that coil when the sustainer was off. But I mean, if this is some mad crazy magnet thing, then maybe that's the case. Then basically it's just for looks because you've got a humbucker sized hole to fill. Makes sense. I went into oscillations from using a Sustainiac. Was this a? I don't know. It's a Sustainiac. What the Fernandez thing's called? Don't know. I do remember seeing Phil McKnight going in, and I think his challenge was to go into Guitar Center with $500 or something like that and buy a guitar and an amp. And he was looking up some of the stuff you get in America is not the same price as it is here. He was looking at, I'm sure it was a made in Japan Fernandez, and it was like $300. And you're like, what? With the sustainer in it, and he didn't buy it because he's got a guitar with a sustainer. And it's like some of the second-hand buys you can get are very different from the ones we get over here, because something like that over here is going to be mega bucks. Maybe just depends how desirable they are. I think there's a sort of similar sort of thing with a lot of sort of second-hand American guitars are much cheaper in America because they haven't had to fly across the Atlantic. Really get expensive one. Have my favorite tech. Cheers, man. I don't know if I'm good enough to be. Oh, it must be a tech at some point. I was annoyed I failed to get the blue light on it. It still looks kind of cool anyway. I offered to put a light bulb in it in the front, but Andrew doesn't want it. I would want it, I think. I don't know. Yeah, the Japanese RGs. I don't think we ever really had the same, like this side of the pond, because we never really went to war with Japan. I think there was a lot of anti-Japanese sentiment, so they kind of weren't that popular when they were around, and then now they're less popular, I think. And maybe because it's such a massive market, the gear goes cheap. That could be a lot to do with it. Aries at Ravensmead. Yes, it could be. It could very much be something to do with it. And also, just when you look on eBay, if you say, I don't know, I don't really do it anymore. But if you were looking at Washburn Falcon or something like that, I mean, it's like 50 times the amount of people have guitars, or there's 50 times as many people in America as we have over here. So even if they're 10 times rarer, they're still 5 times more likely to find one than you are from here. Does that make sense? But I think Japan had a bad time. They were really, really super mega popular in the early 80s, and then I think they sort of went out of fashion a little bit, or I think the prices went up, and then by the time it got to the 90s, it's I don't think it really meant that much to like people who are buying, like your Ibanez RGs, and who else was still Japanese, like the Jacksons. It's like, oh, you're buying a Jackson? It's like, oh, is it a real one? It's like, no, it's just a Japanese one, whereas now a Japanese one would be a real one. A guitar holiday. Oh, that'd be a dangerous thing. How would I do that? In America? Fernandez Flying V. So could be. I don't know if I've never played a Fernandez. I don't think. There's one I nearly bought one before. Is it called a Ravel? It's quite an interesting shape. It kind of doesn't look like anything else. Maybe a bit like an Ibanez Iceman, but not really very much, but kind of sort of something like that. Again, I think it really just depends on where your importers were. Like if Fernandez were in your city sort of thing. I think they maybe just didn't have a very good distributor over here. I think we had a big West Tone distributor, and at the start of the Washburns, we had a decent Washburn one, so there's lots of them kicking about. But for other brands, it's like kind of we just got them. I am completely self-taught in building guitars. That's why I can build them out of planks of wood and doors and stuff like that. Which helps. If you can make a guitar out of a bit of kitchen worktop, then easy. They're very weird shape. But yeah, that had a 1980. Oh, a Fernandez copy of a 62 telly sounds fantastic. But I mean, if you go back, I don't know. I mean, I don't even know if Fernandez are still kicking about. It's like the same as everyone else. When you dig into these things, you start finding out that, oh, you know, they were Japanese in 85 to 90, and then they were a completely different company. They were American, they were more expensive, and then they were Chinese, and so it's kind of a wee bit more look in it. What's been my best build? It has to be the double neck, I think. Or is it the Shocking Bird? I don't know. The Shocking Bird's right there, actually. That's a heavy guitar. I think, to be honest, half the weight of that guitar is that strap. It's incredibly thick. This is one of my favourites. This is 2 bits of joist stuck together. It's a really nice weight. It's got a fresher Les Paul neck on it, a single P90, an air vent, a volume control. It's got this special scoop here, which I've seen before on Yamahas, but I did it because the neck bolt went quite long enough. So that was quite cool. So I think this might be my best build, but the best one was the double neck Ibanez Destroyer, because it took so long. It had to be. Plus, I don't think there's really anything like it in the world. The whole idea of having the 2 nuts lined up, but so obviously it's like guitar here and then the bass, the nuts there, but the body goes, the strings go to here. That's how it's a kind of triangle shape. Quite Gould. I've had some really good Goulds. My pal's got a Gould telly that I had a shot for in Stirling, and I'd already fixed up his, I think it was a Mexican telly, and I'd put like the humbucker mod switch and stuff in it, and he was loving it. And he said, got this old Gould one, it was my first guitar, and what he'd done is he bought another bridge for it, and he'd put it in the wrong place, basically. So I had to do it up and set it up, and when I gave it back to him, he was absolutely floored, and he basically sold his Mexican telly and kept the Gould one because it was better. It was like a baby blue, had an amazing neck on it. Also had, what's the other one that's like, I get mixed up with Gould? Lag. There's some good lags out there as well. Legacy, I think one of the bucky casters I've got that's hanging up getting painted in the garage is a Legacy. I'll see the neck sitting down there. It's not. Neck must be lying through in the living room. Yeah. I don't know much about them, and I don't know Schmidt at all. Maybe it depends whereabouts you are. These kind of sound a little bit like it kind of depends where the distributor was. You know, you might find that if the Gould distributor was in kind of like, I don't know, like Newcastle or something like that, we would get them, and then maybe you would get them in London. Whereas if it was in London, it maybe get as far as, you know, Birmingham or whatever. Maybe not quite make its way all the way up here. Oh. So Gould, what years they had them? Nice 90s. Gould, definitely 90s. Legacy, not sure. I do have a Legacy Les Paul headstock, which is snapped off the Les Paul body, but I mean maybe that's just because it's a really genuine copy of the Gibson. So I've never played it, but my pal was going to throw it out, and I was like, can't throw it out. One day I will make it work somehow. I assume I can't just glue the headstock back on again. I must have had a look at that. There must be bits missing or something. Tokai flew a lot of the old Gibson and Fender Luthers over Japan to get the quality right. I don't know. I've not heard that before. I have heard people going over from America. I don't know if it was Tokai or not, but there was quite a lot of that going on. Like there's definitely, I thought it was Arai, as in Mr. Arai before they changed the name to Aria. I thought it was him that did that, or they kind of employed like an ex-Gibson employee to see how to, just the kind of process to do it. That might be why suddenly, mid to late on 70s, you just end up with these pure amazing Japanese guitars that were fantastic. I don't know. I don't know enough about Tokai. People know Tokai, so I kind of don't. You see Tokai Les Pauls and Strats and stuff like that. Maybe it's just because they made sort of more copy guitars. They're worth an awful lot more, therefore I'm not really looking at them. To be honest, I don't really need another Strat. I don't need another SD. I don't need a Les Paul. You know, I kind of like things that are a bit more interested. Gould are similar to Epiphone. They could very well be. I've actually got a Gould neck there that's absolutely stunning from my Buckfast Van Halen. And this neck looks absolutely stunning. It's slim, one-piece maple. But when I tried to string up the guitar, it was all over the place. But looking at it, it looks fine. It doesn't look like it's like a skateboard ramp, but it kind of was when I was messing about with it. So I wonder if maybe the truss rod was over tightened or something. I kind of I've buckified, I've Van Halen buckified the guitar body. I've just never actually put a neck down on it. Another one of those projects. If I do a project, I have to do it in the winter, or once it's been sitting for 2 days, I've not touched it. It tends to sit for weeks, and then I get back onto it eventually. An old ESP body from the 80s. How can I tell what scale of neck to buy? Oh, I don't know if it's necessarily even the scale, because I have seen people, is it the BC Rich? The BC Rich 24 fret neck. Hold on, is this working the right way around? Or is it the other way around? I think right, I think a 24 fret Les Paul scale neck, so that would come to here, right, can go on a Strat, I think, because it's obviously it's the distance from here to here that matters, and I think because of the neck pocket. But I mean, I really don't know how would you just I would just try and what kind of ESP body is it? Is it sort of Strat shaped, or is it something mad? There's a way of doing it. I just can't quite work my way out how to do it. What I would do, I would measure from the saddles to the start of the neck pocket and see what that was, and then go and measure every guitar I've got to try and find one that's got this. So you don't really know how many. You can try and find out what's got the same measurement as that, and then work it and write down whether they were full scale and how many frets they had. Normally, like a 21 or a 22 fret Fender guitar, the 22 fret would be on like an overhang anyway, rather than it just being to the end of the fingerboard. I've never heard of Fletcher, Cock, and Newman house brands, but it could be. They're definitely good. For some reason, I think they might be French, or is that lag I'm getting mixed up with? No, I had some good. Also, I'm a bit of a. Well, I'm not really a Stargate fan, but the baddies are called the Gould, and Stargate, the folk have got like snakes in them or something. What's popping? Well, that's just like, how's it going? In the name of Bob. I thought you were saying what's popping. I don't know what popping is, but there you go. If you've got a Strat, I would measure up against it. It's kind of hard to tell. I don't know if I can't give you an exact answer. I could definitely, if I had a body, I could definitely make a neck fit to it, but that would be by laying other necks on and see what sort of fitted. FCN. I feel I should know what FCN stands for as well. Really? Chapman's first review was a Gould. I seem to remember. I think I might know that. I've got to really review things that are current, I suppose. Well, this is one I made myself, but nobody from Washburn is going to be interested, or Rari is going to be interested in me saying that that's just like these are like two absolutely top shelf amazing basses, because they don't make them anymore, and nobody does. It's like, yes, you can probably buy one very similar to the Aria, but it's going to be thousands of pounds straight up. And if it was thousands of pounds, I wouldn't have bought it. Yeah, I don't know what Chapman's doing. I can't. I don't fancy his guitars. I don't like the look of them. They're too new metal for me. But that's just an aesthetics thing. It's difficult. I mean, I'm guilty of it myself. It's like, if I don't like the look of a guitar, it's not really going to be for me. It has to be good as well, but it has to look good. Scale length was somehow related to bridge type. That doesn't make any difference. Well, for example, this is a Telecaster bridge, and this is a Telecaster body, sort of, without this bit. So it would be 25.5-inch scale, but I've got a 24 3/4-inch Gibson neck on it. I didn't have any neck pockets. I had to cut it myself, so I could make it to whatever length I wanted. Fletcher, Copcroft, Newman, FCN, right? Learn something. I'm getting it mixed up. FCN, I think I'm getting mixed up with FGN, which is Fujigen's own thing. Yeah. But I mean, I love this guitar. It's so silly. I keep deciding against it because I can't undo it if I do it. I've got a dog-eared P90 in gold cover, which could sit there, but having one single coil pickup and one knob is just, it's just too cool. The Shockingbird, I've called it. Yeah, basically it's a Telecaster apart from that bit. I drew around a Mockingbird and I put a Gibson, a Les Paul neck on it, which is very nearly actually got the... I'm sure people would claim that this was a lawsuit guitar, even though the lawsuit is just it's not quite right. It's there never was a lawsuit, or there was a lawsuit against Ibanez that never went to court or anything like that. They just made copies, and then eventually they get sort of Gibson went, oh, hold on, and then by that point, I think Ibanez either had already changed the headstock logo or the headstock shape, or they just did it immediately because they didn't want to fight. Started making their own stuff because they realised they're better off making your own stuff. Well, you can make better guitars if you make your own stuff, but nowadays, if they'd made that Les Paul bass instead of that, it would be worth thousands of pounds. It's not. Yeah. FGN might be the ones that Merchant City started selling. FGN is Fujigen. They made the Strat you can't see. It's the one that's you can't see. They also made my Squire Bullet and what other Fujigen guitars I've got? My MIDI guitar Strat. But this is their kind of their own brand. Never played one, but they don't seem to be that expensive for what they are. Who would you recommend for ant repair? And I've forgotten his name. Frettronics. He's got a Facebook page. If you remind me, I'll send you a link to it. He's in CNC Music. If you go into CNC Music, it's like you kind of go down the wee stairs off the street into the shop. He's in the wee Ducat on the right-hand side, which I think maybe used to be like theory books, but he's got like a wee off shop. And the guy's lovely. He fixed my MIDI guitar. He changed the valves in my Laney, and he's the guy I would go to if I needed an amp fixed. He just seems nice. Hey, David. I'm already, getting through the bucky. Where have you been? Gibson sues everyone. Yeah, but I don't know if they really knew what they were doing. There's a funny... I wasn't there, right? But from what I gather, Gibson and Fender in the late 70s and early 80s weren't very good. And or the mid-70s weren't very good. So Japan were putting out things like my Antoria or branded anything Telecaster, which was kind of better than the Fender Telecaster you could buy, and it was half the price. And then I think after, by the time it got to sort of 1978, 1979, the Japanese started saying, well, why don't we just make better guitars? They were kind of doing the copies was fine. We're copying an inferior product. So they started making their own designs. And then that went mental for about 5 or 6 years. And then I think Gibson and stuff all sort of changed, or these things, although they were fantastic when you bought them, they went out of date really quickly. At least that's my thinking. And then later on, I think by the time you got to the 90s, Fender and Gibson were both good. But I think there was a point in the sort of 70s where they just weren't very good, and the Japanese were putting out copies that were actually better than what they were copying. Even if they had bolt-on necks, it was still... I mean, my Arbiter Flying V is a stunning guitar. It's a bolt-on neck, so not worth any money. It was like, oh, it's not a set neck, it's not a real Gibson. Better than any Gibson Flying V I've ever played. When they got those Japan guitars and they built the class for, and that's what made them custom shops. I don't quite get that. And they've got those Japan guitars in. They built the class for. I know, and they started. I know that a lot of the custom shop. I think the first custom shops were Japanese, where they could like churn out, like a special edition. I think to a certain extent they still are. I saw a thing on Anderton's a few months ago, and they had some Japanese only Fender models, and these were kind of like mad looking Strat that was entirely silver and dead thin, sort of really crazy ones that obviously I don't think they ever really sold them. Guitars are specifically more for the shredder. I think it depends on what you class as a shredder. To be a shredder is Paul Gilbert, Steve Vai, whereas that's not down tuned to C and just kind of going, kind of that sort of hitting the open E string or whatever you've got it tuned down to, C, whatever. A bit of that. Could be a shredder. I think I call it nu metal, but that's because anything I class has been from the 2000s is pretty much nu metal. Yeah. Oh, FCN are many distributors. They buy a range of guitars from the East with their own brand names on. Define specs and level setup. Makes sense. Kind of basically like John Hornby SKUs. Is what you're saying. Who kind of did that? I think Stag might be something to do with that as well. And yes, regions have concentrations of brands depending on where the distributors are. Most certainly. I think you'll find if you, maybe more so in America, if you go across, you might find there's like in random US city number 1, there's like, there's lots of Washburns, but there's absolutely no Arias. And you go to, a couple hundred miles away to random city number 2, and they've got lots of Arias, but no Washburns at all, just because of who they were fighting. The Japanese get exclusive Fender models and finishes. They do, but I think the Japanese can turn out much smaller runs. So I think that for them, it's an awful lot easier to put out 200 racing green tellies or whatever it is with 3 humbuckers. It's much easier for them to do that. I think a lot of that's probably to do with the pride and the craftsmanship thing. That's I keep noticing about the 80s ones I like. Even when you take the scratch plates off, see the routing on the inside, it's so clean. And I'm saying so much cleaner than I've ever seen on any Gibson or Fender. And you don't even see it. It doesn't need to be perfect. And behind it, it doesn't really matter what's behind, as long as it's covered up with a plate. Who cares? But they just seem so well made. And it's kind of that sort of attention to detail tends to go into the whole thing. It's like, it's kind of quite ridiculous. You end up in a situation with me where like any guitar I play now, I've kind of got 2 categories. It's good for a new guitar, or it's pure amazing. It's like, so that's not good for a new guitar. That's better than any new guitar. That's good for a new guitar. Yeah. The Eastwood Monolith's totally fine. It's great. It's just, it's not at the same level as the Japanese stuff. Have I seen the John 5 Squires? Yes. I know I keep seeing I sell guitars to too many people. I did a deal with a guy. I set up a few of his guitars. One of them was a John 5. It was a gold, and it was really nice. John 5 telly. I think there's one that John 5 did have one that had like a 3-a-side headstock for a couple of years, which I think was pure hated by everyone because it was a telly that didn't have a telly headstock, and then it went on to have a normal headstock. The one I had a shot of had a normal headstock, but it was a smashing guitar. I was going to say I'm not really that much of a fan of John 5, but I mean I think it's a really good all-round guitar. I did see him at Downloads, not last year, the year before, playing with Rob Zombie, and his guitar sound was better than anything else I saw that whole weekend. And as far as I could tell, all he was using was a telly and a fuzz pedal. I don't think he had anything else on, but it just sounded fantastic. Hey Scott, not out in your camper van today then. I'm on I actually started drinking this last night just for a wee drink. Magnum, which is delicious, but you don't need to drink it to get drunk. You can just have a wee sip and it's like cough medicine. Lovely. Ever bought anything from Alibaba China? I have not. I don't know what's about it. I mean, I've done one of my biggest hitting videos is my Telecaster, which actually I sold to David, who's on there. It's an awesome guitar. But I can't recommend buying them from Alibaba, even if you're buying them from the same factory, because the difference was when I was there, I was in China, and I got my girlfriend to tell the factory that I was a rich business person from Britain who was maybe going to buy a pallet, and he was buying samples. So the ones I get sent were probably the best ones they had. They maybe looked over them to get me the one that I wanted. Also, because I was in China, I could send it back. And it was like £4 postage on them. So it was like, if I wasn't happy with it, I did actually send one back. I did a video for it was a different factory from the one that did the telly. It was a Les Paul single pickup, wrap over bridge, like a standard or like a custom. I think it had binding and big fret markers, and it was white and it looked amazing, but the neck was on at a funny angle. And it was like, I can't accept it. The guy wasn't happy that I sent it back, but I mean, it was like, if you look at that bit there, obviously it was a set neck, not a bolt neck. But see that piece there, like the equivalent, is not as big a shelf on a set neck. It was kind of like 10 mil at this side and then about 2 mil at this side, so the neck was just sitting like that. Which, to be fair, you could angle the pickup like that, and you could angle the bridge like that, and it would be fine. The neck was straight. It's just that the pocket was fitted, and because it was a set neck, it was like I had to go back, and I just don't know what you can the risk factor in it, because I've had a couple of Chibson Les Pauls that have been absolutely awful, like just horrible guitars. But I've also had a couple that were actually really pretty good, like easily Epiphone level anyway, apart from the said Gibson on it. Kind of funny. This live stream every Sunday. It has been every Sunday for, that's now 12 weeks, but I think I'm going to move it to Saturday, because so that everyone else can drink. There's some folk work on a Monday morning, so I'm figuring maybe until gigs start happening and the pubs are all open and stuff like that, I might move it to a Friday or a Saturday. It's really just because an awful lot of the eBay bargains I go for come on a Sunday night. Sunday nights at dinner time, basically now, is the best time for looking up Facebook Marketplace. That's when you see guitars popping up and then selling in 10 minutes. I bought one from AliExpress, and I think he's writing Sonic Wingnut. He did not have great things to say. I don't know. See, it becomes a very different thing. I mean, the guitars that I kept, I was buying Telecasters thinking that if Telecasters are pretty simple, assume this is a Telecaster, it's pretty simple. If this bridge is on squint, which it was on the George Harrison telly I bought, you can just kind of move it to the right place and then drill holes and put it back on again, and everything's hidden. It's like kind of easy. And if the neck's on at a funny angle, you can take the neck off and work on it, put it back on again, make it right. So that was my thinking about why I was buying tellies. And some of them have been awesome. I had 2 of those white ones. They were both fantastic. These are all from the same factory. It's called Fire Eagle. Even though there wasn't an option to have Fire Eagle as a brand, you either got Fender or Gibson, depending on which one you got. And I actually got my girlfriend Civet bought one over from me, another white one, exactly the same as the one I sold to David, and without the logo. And basically, they just sanded the logo off before I put it in the case. And you're like, nah, it's not quite the same as if it had never had a logo. Well, that's really my only gripe about them, is the fact they said Fender on the headstock. If they didn't say Fender, then fantastic guitars. Oh, you're in Leeds, but from about 200 yards away. Rocking. I'll try to just talk rather than say anything interesting or show you anything interesting. The thing is, as well, is that you've got to look at it as if you're buying a basic brand telly or Les Paul or something like that, from AliExpress, you're talking about it's going to be like 300 quid by the time you get it. And that's not what when I'm buying it in a box from the factory and taking it out and going, oh, okay, maybe a little bit of fretwork, the strings on it were obviously awful, a wee bit of setup, You always have to flip the telly plate round because the they always wire it so that what's the neck position is actually the bridge, and but I don't know why. Whoever it was that originally told this factory to make Telecasters gave them the switch upside down. So you have to alter that. But I'm paying like 50, 60 quid for it. And for that, you get the guitar that's really good with just a slight adjustment. Just you need to sort of set it up a little bit. You're like, well, that's amazing, but if you're paying 300 quid for it, it's not the same thing. A vintage JHS Strat of mine, modified as a guitar. Oh, Scott set it up. I wondered why it was so badly done. Assuming he's still here. I want to be able to scroll, but I need to be able to find. Actually, you've just put where's my cursor? Scott's just put up an emoji thing. There we go. No, it's not. It wasn't. I thought the cursor was part of your emoji. It wasn't. Yeah, I know the silver one. Yes, I think I had a shot of that before. It didn't work. That's just sitting out there. Yeah, it's like the one. Also, obviously owned by a man who's got a Dymo labeler. If you look at my stuff, it's like, although you're a bit more advanced. I noticed that on your fuzz pedals, you've got red labels and green labels. I've only got black ones. I need to do some more for my steering wheel in the car. I put Mad Malco guitars, printed it out, and stuck it on my steering wheel so you can see it when I'm talking to the camera. So I'm going to put more information on there. Someone actually suggested I could just sellotape photos and stuff on it, so I might do some things like that. Or maybe a picture of Baby Metal. Hi, and Rob Halford. Great stuff. Captain Tom's house is happening to only 2 people per room in a minute, but I'm looking more hopeful. Book 2 hours tomorrow night. Only 2 people per room. Weird, but I'm back in the studio with both my bands. I think first one's next Sunday, and then the following Wednesday. I'm not really sure how it's working. There's 4 of us in each of the bands. I don't know. It'd be nice to get back to normal. I'm totally missing the bands, with the guys. Great fun just hanging about. The thing is, it's kind of annoying because both the bands were going really well. We were just getting the hang of it, just started gigging. And then it's just have a whole year and a bit off. I think we managed to get in once with both bands about 6 months ago. There was a temporary lockdown restriction, and then it was back on again. Most of the vintage guitars I've tried have been not bad, but the block inlays were all sanded until they were see-through. Vintage. I've not heard that they've been sanded too much. I've actually got a vintage SG through here. I'll be back in 2 seconds, assuming I can find it. I don't remember the. Oh God, so many guitars. There it is. I've got too many guitars. I wouldn't have said they were particularly mother of pearly. It's more just kind of like white plastic on them. This is going to be my Tony Iommi Monkey, which is getting. I think I showed this before. It's getting these pickups in it, and then I've decided that I'm just going to buy the proper John Birch pickup rings. They're only 25 quid, and it's like it means I can say John Birch monkey guitar, including real, genuine John Birch parts. None of the parts that are expensive, just pickup rings. But hey, so I'm quite looking forward to getting this going. I've still not got the vintage style witch hat knobs, which I ordered from China. So I assume I'll get them at some point. But this is another one of those projects that I've just kind of started, and I should have just finished it. I was just trying to decide whether I was going to cut out these the pickup surrounds first, because it's got to take P90s and it's got humbucker routes. Yeah, so coming soon, Tony Iommi Monkey. But this, look at how wood this thing's made of. That's pretty darn fancy, if I don't mind saying so myself. I think this is a fantastic looking guitar. I got this off Scott in the comments actually. It was completely sticker bombed. So it's like I kind of got it, and it's like, yeah, that's great, thanks, Scott. Kind of, because all the stickers are all kind of going minging around the edges, but it cleaned up really well. I was really impressed with it. Most of the vintage guitars. Actually, someone actually mentioned on one of my an Epiphone fanboy, I think, on my one of the vintage. I don't know whether it was a Les Paul or not, saying, "Oh, it's pure pathetic that Epiphone have got like a 5-year warranty and vintage only have a 1 year. That's pure rubbish." And it's like, kind of, to be honest, I have not played a vintage that isn't as good as an Epiphone. Generally, every vintage I've played has been significantly better than an Epiphone. Maybe that's just the ones I've played, though. So you never know. It's black, silver, red, or green diamond labels. Half the fun is doing it myself, though. When you sit there and are trying to see where I was trying to put Mad Malcolm guitars, because something happens, and it's like, right, oh, hold on, someone messages you, you go back and you go, oh no, I've written Mad Malcolm Goods. Did I put the A in or did I not? That's half the fun. I just need to buy some of the tape. It's like looking for things to demo label. Just joined. Where am I? I'm in Milton O'Campsie, just outside Glasgow. I could get a lapel mic. Thought about it. I don't know. I could maybe just shout. I mean, basically all I was saying was, "Oh no, I can't find it. There it is. Oh no, it isn't. I've got too many guitars. Oh, there it is. Aha." Oh, so didn't really miss that much. Maybe just shouting's the way to go. I do have a cupboard that's basically like an area for guitars. The cupboard's called the rest of the house. It's disgusting in here. I mean, there are no guitars in the kitchen and there's no guitars in the bathroom. Everywhere else is just knee deep in guitars. It's ridiculous. Oh, you made a monkey too and you bought the sticker? I remember seeing the sticker on eBay like a few months ago and I can't find it anymore. So I was just going to not bother putting the sticker on it and assume that if somebody really wanted to buy it, because the thing is, it's a kind of strange market to sell it to, because it's like, oh, you don't have 15 grand to buy a real one. And it's like, so it's not like I'm competing with £1,000 one. I'm competing with a 15 grand one, which is like totally non-existent for nearly everybody. So I think there might be a bit of money in it. I don't think I'll sell it cheap. Not all vintage guitars are great. That could be. And C-sharp tuning, that's in C-sharp tuning. We're playing a gig and I'm using that for the C-sharp. So we're kind of we're arguing over what order to put things in. We're kind of going to start off with like War Pigs we're going to start with Black Sabbath and NIB and War Pigs and Ferrisbury Boots and then swap guitars. And then I'll be down for the Snowblind and the Children of the Grave and then back at the ends for Iron Man. So there should be 2 swaps in it. I remember trying a vintage SG many years ago, well, 5 years ago, and it was only 40 quid, and it was a white triple pickup custom looking thing, and it was 40 quid, and it was awful. So that was me thinking all vintage guitars were rubbish. I don't know when it was from. Certainly the vintage guitars I've had one of the SGs I had last time, I think was a lot older than this. It had like a mahogany coloured headstock, and it didn't have Wilkinson parts, but it was basically the same as this one. That one I tried with the 3 pickups in it was not the same guitar. As soon as I put it in my leg, I was like, this is pure wonky. It was like the neck was too long or too short or something. I don't know what that one is. I don't have a toilet guitar, no. I did. Somebody tried to sell me a bass one time. It was like, I just keep it in the bog for playing, and it was like, I didn't buy the bass because I didn't like the idea of buying a bass off basically who's just been in somebody's bog. Like, no. I've also actually tried playing the guitar on the toilet, and it's not really one of those things. When you're sitting on the toilet, I can play my Game Boy, or I can read magazines. That's fine, but the guitaring thing's it's not a natural feeling thing. You feel very wrong, and that you shouldn't be doing this. So no, I don't have a toilet guitar. I had vanished. I don't know. I've got some more guitars outside. I'm going to go and get in a minute. So I'll vanish again, but these ones are much closer. vintage guitars are pretty good compared to the 10 plus Epiphones. It's not all about the brand and the headstock. It's not, but I mean, I've had Epiphones that I really like. I really like my original SG. I've had a few Epiphones since then, and basically none of them I've even considered keeping. I've actually got, in fact, I said I was going to go and get it. I'll hold it. I don't need to talk about it yet. Look at that, see? I haven't looked this up at all. I don't know what it is, but it is an Epiphone by Gibson. And it's like Epiphone and Gibson are the same size font. And it's a mini Explorer. Yeah, it's not been played. So this is an interesting one. As again, it's like Epiphone's one of those things like Squire where it depends what year it is you're buying them from, because this, I think, is 80s. Serial number starts SL7, so maybe 1987. It's plywood. You can actually see the laminations in here. See in the cavity in the back. And came with these horrendous bridges, which is actually a copy of a Westtone Bendmaster. But the difference is Westtone made them out of steel, not Weetabix. So all these ones you see, which look just like the Westtone ones, the block on the back now is a sort of crumbly clay type stuff. I think it's basically the same. The metal it's made of reminds me very much of what die-cast Matchbox cars used to be made from. It's like that, kind of just rubbish. So this is in for getting some sort of bridge that'll work. A Floyd might sit in there. I'm not really sure yet. I've not had a good look at it. It's got the cool knobs though, right, with the notches on it. But I think this is a very cool guitar. It's got a very nice neck on it. I think it's a Samick, but I don't know. It's also much smaller than an Explorer. Kind of like it's a Dean Baby Z, which is kind of like this. But I think the big difference with the Epiphone, this one, over any other Epiphone, is it's got the proper Gibson headstock on it. The Explorer, I think the all the other Epiphone Explorers like that as well. It's a bolt on neck too. This is fantastic. Hold on. Now we're getting caught up. Now we're getting caught up. I'm now getting right behind. This is pretty good. Put a Gibson J200. A J200 is an acoustic, isn't it? I don't know. But yes, you can definitely get a guitar that's set up badly, and people still love it. I think there's so many people out there who've got their pure amazing guitar. They've got their, it's a £2,000 Les Paul, and it's set up rubbish, and they can't see past that. You know, the sort of thing where you could give them a well set up Epiphone or a vintage or something like that, and it's a better guitar because it's not set up right. That's the jobby guitar. What's a jobby guitar? Toilet guitar, jobby guitar. Okay, I've not actually made a jobby guitar yet. It would be quite interesting though. It's just like, I don't know, maybe. Do you get any PV guitars? Yes, we get relatively modern PV guitars. We don't get the good ones. Is it the TA60 and the TA50? And there's a few from this sort of era which are totally spiky and look a bit like Klingon spaceships. Mantis is coming up. Vortex. There's some crazy looking PVs. No, we don't get them over here. The only PVs we get are the sort of more modern, the Predator, is it Raptor, something like that, like the kind of budget, the cheapest ones. We don't really seem to get any more expensive ones. They are good though. I did a puke caster out of one of but Cameron bought the puke caster off me. That was a great little guitar. And same with the Strat version. It's like you're comparing these to, they're probably the same price as the cheapest Squire Strat, but they're the same quality level as the £100 more Squire Strat. But again, if you're spending £200 on a Squire Strat, then 6 months' time it's going to be worth more than 150, whereas the PV will be worth 80, sort of thing. So it's not the sensible option, even though you're getting a better guitar, in my views anyway. Pot metal could be, yeah, as in made of cannabis. It could be. I never tried actually smoking the Weetabix bridge, but yes. Did I once mention I had a Saltaire guitar? See, the Saltaire's been muted. I think we're getting they're after us Scottish people, because what I see there is, a Saltaire and you put a picture up of a black flag. I tried to send one of my pals was around picking up his Thunder earlier on, and he sent me a thing saying about Rangers, and he put a Union Jack on it. I get pure offended, and I tried to hit him back with lots of saltires, and they come up as black flags, and then I had to search through and find them to get the saltires up. Yeah, I did have an Aria 335, basically kind of looked like Noel Gallagher's guitar, apart from it was a saltire instead of thing, and it was a fantastic guitar. I just needed to sell it because I ran out of money. I think it was the first time Civic came over from China. I seem to remember being in bed, totally 100% asleep, and then Civic would go, "Oh, somebody at the door!" So and I'd be waking up and I'd be and then that's right, shit, totally forgot. Pure slept in. I don't know. I can't remember who it was that bought it. Oh, Weetabix Bridge. Yeah. I've seen toilet. I've actually got a guitar. My Washburn Raven actually does look like my old toilet seat. Someone stripped it at some point. It used to be yellow. I need to look like that. Is my toilet seat guitar because that's what it looks like. Where's Tremolo? Let's hear it. Nice. For this, the as I said, the block was Weetabix, so it's disintegrated. It's just got a piece of wood stuck in it. So there is no. I can't play this yet. It's in for a Floyd Rose. I don't think there's any point in trying to get one of these bridges. Interestingly, I can see the way it's been wired, where he's put the strings. So the strings have gone in where the fine tuners should go. So that's interesting. Never seen that done before. I know that's what I know. I was being humorous. Get played Bucky Boy with whammy. I don't have a guitar sitting about that's got a whammy on it really easily. None of these have got a whammy. Oh, that one does. I'll play that one. Yeah. A Celtic guitar. I did make a Celtic guitar before inadvertently. I made a Strat that I put like 6 pickups in, and I painted the body green, and it had a white scratch plate. And I get so much abuse. Not really making Celtic guitars for it. It's like it's a green Strat with a white scratch plate. It's hardly Celtic, but I just figured that most people are like football aren't in guitars. I did have obviously thought of doing a Rangers and Celtic double pack, but it just comes down to I really don't like either teams or football and the fighting that it causes. I do understand that it's, especially in Scotland, it's a huge part of people's lives. It just doesn't interest me at all. PV Raptor, Predator, EXP, and the Millennium. All those names ring bells. The most common ones. The one I do want, I've still not actually seen yet. There's a PV Vandenberg, or it's called V-Type because Vandenberg no longer endorses them, so they just called it a V-Type. V doesn't stand for Vandenberg, honestly. Fantastic. And a Rotor, which is kind of exploratory, apart from this thing is a purple quilt with like the most elaborate binding I've ever seen. These things look amazing. They're not expensive when they come up for sale. I think it's one of those ones, one of the few guitar magazines I ever bought, I had one in it. It was like £500 new, £400 new, and it just looked amazing, and I got a pure amazing review. I've just not seen one yet. Recorded in the bathroom for reverb, it could be done. Yeah. Yeah. So you're a big Henry Rollins fan there, Jonathan Johnson, posting up black flag, black flag, black flag, black flag. Yeah, it's okay. There's one there. I assume that's what you meant to try and say. So they have red coat behaviour also. let's not try and get too bravehearty. Yeah, but I don't know what's going on. But I will be showing this when it's going. Vintage 70s and 80s PV's prices going up. Of course they are, but they're not. You just don't get them here. Or again, I think there's a lot of these things where people. There's certain models of guitar that people have got. They don't necessarily want anymore, but they look at them and they go, what, they only sell for like 150 quid? I'm not going to sell it for that, because you start thinking, it's like, oh, what's your guitar worth? And you start thinking, oh, it's worth like 200 quid or something like that. You start thinking, right, what kind of guitar, if I go into, I keep saying guitar, I'm not, just because they're the biggest guitar shop kicking about here. What sort of guitar do I get for 200 quid? And it's like, oh, you don't get a particularly high-end guitar for 200 quid, and 200 quid kind of covers a lot of the ones I've got. And it's like you're talking about these guitars are as good as any you can get for £1,000. So it's like kind of being a wee bit selective. Knowing what you're talking about or knowing what you're looking for is a good plan. This is almost, let's see, is it the same colour as this one? No, that's definitely a candy apple. That's a more orangey red. but not miles away from year-wise. What's this, 85, I reckon, and 87. That's when guitars look like this. But I like this. This is unfortunately, I don't really have an option to buy this one. To be honest, I would kind of consider it. Mind you, if you're going to have an Explorer, do you not want it to be so big that you can't possibly put it in a case and you keep sticking it in the folks' ribs and stuff like that? Because I think Explorers are much bigger than this. Let's see, the other guitars I was talking about. Was, there was another one. That's right, I got it off the same chap. This guy just lives around the corner from me. And I'll just shout when I go through here so you can still hear me. Yes, I'm still in the hall shooting. And I've now picked up the other guitar. And now I'm coming back. This one, which is an Encore. This is actually from the same chap who's borrowed them both off his pal, like from years ago, I think. And this is his pal's wife's guitar. It had the same type of bridge as that one, but it's missing. So this is again maybe getting a bit of a Floyd Rose. But again, I think this might be exactly the same factory as that Epiphone. So I mean, they didn't think about the headstock very much, and it's got like a very photo printed top on it. I mean, I'm sure this could be a decent guitar. Kind of maybe not the most interesting. You can't be 80s guitars, but the thing is, in the 80s, you didn't. Well, these ones are actually, they're probably both plywood, but at this time they were still, they could still get neckwood. So the necks you get on these are far superior to anything you can buy now. Obviously, it's good custom shop £2,000 guitars, but the wood that these necks are made of is way, way better than you get on like your Squire Classic Vibes and stuff like that. And it's just, whether it's built better or not, it's built in the same factory. I'm pretty sure this is either Cort or Samick. But the necks on this era can be fantastic. The bodies are plywood. I've got a theory about the plywood bodies. I remember when I started, the first guitar magazine I bought, it was all about the Yamaha Pacifica. It was a relatively new thing. And their big thing was they did not use plywood. So their advert was like pure, yes, the Yamaha Pacifica, available in natural. Just ask to see our competitors if they've got a natural model, because obviously you went to Squire and stuff like that. Oh, we don't have a natural model. No, it's because it's a plywood guitar. So I think even though plywood's not a bad thing, tone-wise or anything like that, it just, the Yamaha Pacifica pure destroyed it because they made, you've got a plywood guitar. 70s Les Pauls, Gibson Les Pauls are plywood. Like the one that, I always remember the one that, the Ace Frehley from Kiss played. His is a plywood guitar. Plywood with a maple cap on it. It's like yeah. If you sure you've got Bud. Interesting, got anything Japanese? It's like everything's Japanese. Actually, looking at it just now, not that many, but that's an 79 Washburn Vulture Japan. That's an 85 Ariel Laser. That's an Eastwood, doesn't count. That's a Japanese Yamaha SC400. That's a Ariel Laser. That's a Japanese Antoria Yamaha SG Grant double cut thing. Again, I've managed to lose a guitar. West Tone Raider. Basically, all the guitars I've got are Japanese, apart from the boring corner, which I call it, which is my Gibson SG and my Fender Strat. Although the Fender Strat's Japanese. So yeah, I'm the mad Japanese man. It's like when it comes to collecting these things. The Explorers are like maker, smaller bodied, much better, possibly. I've done a deal. I think I've done a deal with my pal Wayne. I've purchased good luck, Wayne. Wayne's getting a heart operation Tuesday. I hope he's going to be all right, because I'm meant to be going down to his house to see him. He runs a wee guitar shop in Colville in near Leicester. Like, it's kind of open on a Saturday type thing, and he's got a couple of guitars. I'm going to go down and I'm going to do a wee video series. Basically, just go down and get pissed is the plan. But during the day, when I don't drink as much, I'm going to go through all the guitars in his shop and do wee videos and stuff like that. And he's a mad Washburn collector as well, and he's got me an Aria Blade Runner, which is basically a ZZB apart from it's got blade pickups, and in 1980, whatever it was, they brought out the Blade Runner one. So I want that because it says Blade Runner on it. I'm also getting an A20 off them as well. Do you sell guitars on eBay? I do, yes. I've actually got the Hondo bass, which I'm going to, again, I'll just start shouting. I'm pretty sure I'll be able to find this one quite quickly, because I was looking at it just the other day. Where is it? There it is, I found it. You look at that already. Do the other half of the sound shouting. This one. I'm going to put this on eBay. This thing is amazing for what it is. You probably seen the video the other night. But I've actually got a Hondo that's kind of painted like this, but I painted it myself. I wasn't aware that Hondo did these. So yes, I put things on eBay, but I don't like doing this the auction thing on eBay because I get stung a couple of times. I've tried to sell. What was the one I got stung really badly with? It was a Line 6 Variax 500, 600. And I ended up going for like 150 quid, and it was like, oh, really annoying. Ibanez Destroyer, Candy Apple Red. Oh. Wow. A Destroyer Candy Apple Red with original case, 1984. Was that the one pickup one? Because I bought a one pickup one about 3 years ago, and it was so rusted that the bridge was basically having to go in the bin, and so were the tuners. And I complained to the guy. I kind of tried to make it play as well as I could, and I said to the guy, look, I didn't pay very much for it. So this is pretty much unsavable. Can we do a deal on the price? And the guy, no, just send it back, that's fine. Which is annoying, but it really was. I paid like 180 quid for it or something like that, which is probably not bad for one in good condition, but like, you know, the bridge where it had the brass saddle, it was just completely, this had been sitting in the rain for years. But I mean, sticky back plastic comes off. My Arbiter Flying V I was talking about earlier on was entirely covered in duct tape, as was the scratch plate had been taken off, wrapped in duct tape 20 years ago and put back on again. And I was like, this thing was like, couldn't even touch it. It was because all the duct tape at the edges has gone off frayed, and it was pure minging fluff stuck to it. And I was like, oh, and I couldn't believe it. I was kind of imagining to get it off the body. And I was like, actually, there's kind of not too bad below this. And I was looking at the scratch plate thinking, right, well, if I take the tape off, maybe I can use it as a template to cut one. Took the tape off, and it was like a pure immaculate scratch plate. Wow. Yeah. Where's your merch? I want a t-shirt. My Japanese man too. Did he own any yet? Get my t-shirt here. I've got one run of t-shirts that they made a mistake, so they're cheap. They just say Mad Malcolm instead of saying Mad Malcolm Guitars. They're all black. You can get white writing, orange writing, or green writing in extra large. There's a few left. Message me at Mad Malcolm Guitars, and I will sort you out. They're a tenner, including post, if you're in UK. Didn't make plywood guitars, were pancake construction. Is that what pancake is? Malcolm looks about, seeing if he can find what I reckon to be pancake. I don't have one. No, I thought pancake was because a lot of the Matsumoto guitars are pancake. It's like half thickness wood, so you've got like the top half and the bottom half, like on the Flying V. I think they did that as well, but they also did plywood. I think. I'm not sure. Yeah, I brought a West Tone Thunder from you in Edinburgh and Glasgow. I'm in Glasgow. As far as I'm aware, I've only ever sold one West Tone Thunder, and that was to Ronnie, and his name's not Mitchy Mouse too. So I don't think it was a Thunder. I've had a few basses, but none of them have ever been mine. West Tone Thunder is one of those basses that I've always wanted. I've recommended a few of my pals to get them. I've set them up for them. They're fantastic. I've just never actually owned one myself. That was what I wanted to do when I got my YouTube money. I was going to, this whole Trade Tuesday thing was going to be, right, what guitars, like, well, I want a West Tone Thunder, so I was going to start off with my 60, 70 pound, whatever it was, YouTube money, and try and buy something and trade it up to get a West Tone Thunder. And basically I managed to get that, this area, which some guy found at the dump, which is pretty much like, okay, shape-wise, it's not exactly a West Tone Thunder, but it's the same factory. It's almost the same shapes, the same pickup, same hardware. So it's kind of got my West Tone Thunder without actually having to buy one. There's not an awful lot of West Tone, and then we were both made in Matsumoto. So I've never owned a Westone Thunder, and eventually I'll get one. I've actually got a Westone Prestige, which kind of looks like a Thunder. I've got a Westone Concorde, which kind of looks like a Thunder, but not an actual Thunder. Get something you need to combat leaving the room? Message me. I'll catch that later. I don't have anything turned on. I think I missed out one. Maybe scroll up a little bit. But maybe my Japanese on YouTube, you get one. Yeah, have a look at Japanese. If you were on over the weekend, you could have got a Washburn Force 3, which, let's be honest, is better than a Fender Strat. Said it. Got a Fender Strat there. Better guitar. £110 it went for. Bit dirty, but most of it was there. Also today, Washburn A5, which is sort of an Explorer shape. 210, 220, which I consider would be a bit expensive. But what kind of guitar do you get for 220 quid? You're not. I don't even think you're at classic vibe either. You're talking bolt-on neck Epiphone, sort of less not classic vibe era Squire, and you're talking about buying something that's better than a Gibson. So they're still there. You just have to look for them. I'm just a wee bit out of date because I'm used to buying a lot of these guitars 5, 10, well, maybe 5 years ago, and things have really gone up because there's idiots on YouTube who've now put on videos saying Washburn Vulture, the best bass you can buy. It's like me, and then it's like they're no longer cheap enough for me to buy them. What have I got listed on eBay just now? Oh no, I need to speed through these. I'm getting caught up. I've been on for an hour and 26. Yeah, it's obviously pure rattling through it. The bucky counter's saying the way to check for a bottle of wine's halfway through is to actually hold it horizontally. I'm not quite halfway yet. Perfect. What have we got listed on eBay? The only thing I've got on eBay just now is the Hello Kitty Squire guitar, which I thought was going to be an absolute seller because the Hello Kitty's eyes light up red and it's got a distortion pedal in it, but no interest. So I can sell it eventually. I kind of want to find the one person that goes, "You've got what?" And then they'll buy it. Hey, definitely Tony, I want a Mad Malco t-shirt. What's happening? Message me at Mad Malco Guitars on Facebook, and I'll send you. If you're in the UK, I'll just a tenner for a t-shirt. There's only a few left. I'm going to, as soon as these are done, these are gone. I'm going to buy ones that are actually properly printed with Mad Malco Guitars rather than just saying Mad Malco. That was kind of the guy's fault, but mostly my fault because I just thought he went happy. What do you think of this? I went, bro, you've got the font right. Perfect. Also asked for like orange t-shirts and green t-shirts, but actually what I got was black t-shirts with orange writing and green writing. But hey, yeah, I'm going to restore it. Adrian Smith one. Hold on, Ravensmead's kind of lost a little bit. He's red. What was the last thing he said? I bought an Ibanez Destroyer, and then he's going on to. It was the Adrian Smith one, right? Okay, I thought when you say Adrian Smith, I assumed you meant the modern Fender Jackson thing, but yeah, I know the one you mean. Yeah, they're worth. I think, like for a decent condition, one of them you're probably talking about £800-900, something like that. They're really expensive now. Oh, you've got it and you're going to restore it? Fantastic! That'd be an amazing thing. You said that you said this to me before. I don't have it on eBay, but if you could, if you message me at Malco MALKO at hotmail.co.uk. I can get you there. I wasn't going to bother putting it on eBay, but I mean, I could if you wanted, I suppose. But if you just direct send me it, then saving fees and stuff. Are my bands on YouTube? After the end is somewhere because we've only managed to do one gig, so that bits of that gig are up. We had 6 gigs booked, and then the lockdown hit after the first one. So there will be a thing coming up soon. We're doing a party thing. Ali the drummer, who's he kind of retired last year, and I think one of those things that he's got when he get married and stuff before he had kids, he bought like an allotment, not an allotment, what do you call it? A small holding, and then he's for the last 30 years or whatever it is, he's been building it. He's got like a mad studio and a brilliant garden and all this. It's been an amazing place. I think he's probably always thought I'm going to have bands round and have a proper party, and then I think now because he's retired, he's doing it. So hopefully I'm going to get somebody to film that and maybe even edit it. There's 4 bands on. There is the drummer's punk band, which are pretty good. I've heard a couple of songs and they're not really what I thought were punk. They're kind of more rock, but they're good. Cranking House with me on guitar. The Led Zeppelin tribute with 2 guys from Cranking House on it. And then the Black Sabbath tribute with me on bass. So that should be pretty interesting. The latest with the Pantera guitars. The latest with the Pantera guitars is I've got so much stuff I'm getting behind. I made the pink one work and it's been amazing. The other one I need to do quite a lot of polishing on. I just haven't had time. I've been doing other people's guitars. Latest with the bought a glut of Thunders, yes, but Thunders used to be cheap. I remember seeing Thunders all the time for 80, 90, £100. And then now they're much more than that. Yeah, get nice ones. I had one a few months, maybe a month or 2 ago. It was a Thunder 2, which is the set neck one. So Thunder 1's bolt on, Thunder 2's set neck, and Thunder 3 is through neck. It was a set neck one, and this thing was an early one, so it was 1981, and this thing was beautiful. It really was. It was almost as nice as the Washburn Wings. It was kind of that sort of level. You're really talking going into a modern guitar shop, finding a guitar that was as nicely, but as well built as this. You're in custom shop territory. It really was unbelievable. And I think a lot of the West Tones are like that. But Thunder, the reason Thunders were such a big thing was because they were coming out with a guitar that was like a quarter of the price of a Les Paul and better than a Les Paul. And it's like, if you bought the Les Paul at the time, it's now worth $2,000. Whereas if you bought the Thunder at the time, it probably cost you £400 and it's probably now worth £400 or £500. So the sensible buy would be to buy the really, really inferior Les Paul. But then you didn't get a good guitar. Bucky counter nearly at the Fight Me measure. I think Fight Me is officially when you get past the barcode. I just stick the bottle right into the camera. That's what, it's quite 3D, isn't it? I want the Hello Kitty Sparrow. You can buy it. It's for sale. You send me an offer. Message the do. Aye, that's probably good. Okay, Rocket Ronnie. I'll stick one on eBay. You asked for a green XL. I am not 100% sure there's another green XL. There might be. If there's one, I'll put it up. There's definitely a white one and there's definitely it's an orangey one, but I'll have a look at the green one because a guy I swapped for a bass, which I've not actually talked about yet. I gave him 2. I gave him a medium. He gave me a bass for a t-shirt, basically. He's a lovely guy. So I took 2 t-shirts to see which one would fit, just gave him them both. I'm crap at emails too. The problem with emails is you just end up I don't check it, and there's so much stuff. It's just like pure, you've authorized blah 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 payment in PayPal, and just can't bother it. Raffle. I could raffle the Hello Kitty. I possibly could. Karen, you can film and edit. Can you? Oh, can you? Really? It's going to be pretty mental party. I don't know. I'd maybe take you up on that if you've got like cameras and stuff. Because I've got like the GoPro and stuff, which I don't mind doing. But if I'm playing 2 bands and obviously heavily drinking Bucky, it's the sort of thing I would just forget about. So you'd have to say relatively sober enough to do that until the last band were finished, then you just get tagged like everyone else. Yeah, sorry, I was kind of talking more about a Thunder bass than a Thunder guitar, but the Thunder basses are awesome. The Thunder guitars are really good. I just gave my pal was picking us up from getting fixed earlier on. Smashing guitar. The reason I don't have a Thunder is because I've got one called a Prestige, which is basically like a Thunder 3, apart from what's different about it again? It's got a tremolo. I always have to do that when I say tremolo. Actually, a similar tremolo to what was on that Epiphone, the Bend Master, apart from it's made of metal, not made of Weetabix. Hey, Alban, how's it going? Plays a jam. What a drunk jam? What guitar to play? What one's working? I'll play this one because this is my favourite. I get a lead to plug it into. I'm going to assume it I'm really thinking. I'm thinking of one I'm missing out. What am I missing out? Oh, aye. Just before I plug this in, I kind of feel strange standing talking without having this. So I don't think this will be in tune. But it might be. Nope. Wow, these are sensitive tuners. Or I'm drunk. Yeah, the trick is, I always just think when I was in the studio with bands was, if you start your bucky after you've started playing, things were going to be alright. If you turned up drunk, you couldn't play. So that's the theory I'll be using for this gig. We're playing. I will be starting drinking as soon as Cracking House begins. And then by the time Black Sabbath comes on, I'm hoping to be Black Sabbath drunk. I'm going to try and challenge the singer to get Ozzy drunk. So I really want him to, ideally, if he, at the bare minimum, piss himself on stage. It would be better if he shat himself on stage, wouldn't it? Well, so I've seen him get caught up. Found that out recently looking at the web. Beautiful basses. We're talking about the Thunder 3. The Thunder 3 is stunning. My pal Wayne's got one. He got it really cheap because someone sawed the top of the head off. The bit where it says West Tone, so it's just got like it comes up to a certain point and just goes dunk straight across. But that's a stunning looking thing. A 4K camera microphone set if you need it. Filmed. I'm happy to take my time. It sounds brilliant, and it's a free bar and a tent. Or if you want to drive, you can drive if you want. It's down in not far away, about an hour. Stephen, mate, I've emailed you. Ignore this, Malco. Okay, I'll ignore it. Play as a jam. Right, as we're kind of on for an hour and 36. I'm not quite ready to give up yet, I don't think. No, it'd be awesome if you could, especially if you can run it. How would I do it? It'd be amazing to get like a proper pro gig footage sorted. So maybe some sort of recording something from the desk. Maybe multiple camera angles. I've got my thing that I got so I can stick the GoPro on the head of the bass. That could be pretty cool. Ignore this, Malco. I can't ignore it. It says, if someone says ignore it, I'm going to look it up, haven't I? Jeez, silly. So before I have a wee bit of a jam, I'm going to mention seeing as I've got this on, the bass I got from the chap down in Thingy, with its, this is the headstock shape that had been put on it. So you see that the shaded bits, I think if I cut them off, I'm going to be able to make it look a little bit less penisy, basically. It's it doesn't look so bad since I drew the bits on it, but it really is, paint it pink, and it really is it's a big willy. So Telecaster type bass. I was looking at the rest of it here. The rest of it here. I don't know what this is. If anyone knows, it says made in Japan on the neck plate, so it's a Japanese classic plywood body, kind of I guess sort of like a P bass sort of thing. But I've got it had a jazz bass pickup, but looking at it, I think what it had was something that's sort of similar to a Telecaster bridge pickup, because there seems to be screw holes here and here and here. So it was like some sort of Telecaster pickup. And what I was thinking of doing with that, I should take this neck off so it doesn't fall off and damage anything. I'm trying to do this without missing bits. So jazz bass pickup going on there, and then jazz bass humbucker stuck on there. So a triple bucker is what I'm thinking, because that would be cool. But since I was looking at that, I dug out the second Shocking Bird. Yeah, so this is basically what it looks like when it hasn't been made into a guitar. And I was thinking, going to be quite a nice bass, isn't it? I was thinking of even gifting it to and I thought the triple pickup here, I'm not going to be able to set it up properly, but that as a neck pickup, Telecaster bridge, could be quite interesting. So I'm on the lookout if anyone's got a nice, I think I would rather it was a 3-a-side or a 2-a-side headstock. There's a wee stag bass I'm particularly after, which is a short scale stag, and the body shape is horrible, but it's a really nice neck. So I'm kind of after one of them. Put it on this triple bucker in the neck, solid bridge, Telecaster controls, and then I might gift that to the. If I got a Cranking House, the bass player's playing an Epiphone EBO, so if I gave him a guitar that I'd made myself, it means I could look at it. Oh, I forgot about the Discord. It's not been 2 weeks, it's only been 1 week, and I've not even looked at it. No, I don't even know what Discord is, to be honest. I will look it up. Hold on, well, I missed out some stuff. Thunder Ones are fantastic. There's a huge difference in price between the Thunder 1 and the Thunder 2 and the Thunder 3, but really my only stipulation I think for a Thunder would be I want one that wasn't the blonde one, because that's quite common. The natural wood one, the one with the sort of dark red sides looks stunning, and the one that's dark blue looks even more cool. My pal's actually got an all red one, which I think he paid something like 60 quid for. I should have bought it myself, but then again, if I bought it, I'd probably have done it and sold it rather than keep it myself. But I mean, it was stunning. I think it might be called a Thunder Jet. I'm old enough to remember an onslaught of Japanese instruments and a 1981 Vantage bass. I've got a couple of Vantages. I don't have was it a sort of that kind of looking Vantage bass? They kind of copied that a fair bit. There's a few Vantage and a few other companies did it as well. I think those ones are Matsumoku. I've got a few sort of kind of going Stratty, sort of basically more whatever you call that shape there is, sort of like a Strat but a bit pointier, no scratch plate, that kind of thing. I do like Vantage. Yes. The only problem with Vantage is when you look them up on eBay, up comes Aston Martin cars. It's just an unfortunate name. Same with vintage. You type in vintage guitar, and up comes any guitar that's older than 30 years old. So you're up here. Oh, you need to know the model. So it needs to be. I think it's a VS6, the SG. So if you type in vintage VS6, you find the SG. You type in vintage SG, you get any SG that's more than 20 years old. Bears Den drinking buckfast out of glasses. Really? No, you got to drink out of the bottles. It's like, that's just classy. The neck, that was one of the things that's kind of killing me on that. This neck here, it's really nice. It's kind of made of that really light looking wood, but it's really glossy. It's got awesome tuners as well, man. So that was why I was kind of thinking, rather than making it into a bucky bass or something, sell it for 100 quid, it's a bit nicer than that. Not worth necessarily any more money. It's just it's a really nice neck. That's why I was thinking of giving it to Nick. Fantastic. We do it purple. Are you talking about the West Tone Thunder? So if you left the centre stripe wood coloured and then put purple on the other side, that could be pretty amazing. A style concert, I didn't know they played aria guitars and basses. A lot of people did round about then, though. Hey, I love Scottish people. Hey, I'm saying have a nice day, y'all. Does y'all sound like from Texas? Rocking. Oh, JHS fronts. Okay, you'll get that. But then the thing about doing that is, though, you're not going to get one that slips through that someone's mislisted it as. I bet you there's always vintage guitars that are mislabeled that you can suddenly fit through, and suddenly you see like an SG go for 60, 70 quid. So like, yeah, just because it was badly done. Aye, vintage website, but yeah, but not on eBay. Got you. Yeah. Yeah, I've still got you've still got my boot to fix on the car. Have I not got a bass to fix or something? I don't know. Yeah, so that's been kind of 1 hour 44, 30 people on. Rockadoodle. What was I going to say to people when there was people on? I was going to ask if it was okay to move to Saturday, and everyone seemed to think that was kind of all right because it's a bit more of a drinking night. What was I going to say? I was going to say there's still some t-shirts. I will, after this, go back and find you. I've forgotten who you are, but I will look it up. Who wanted me to find you one? Just list on eBay, and I will work out some way of contacting you to send it to you through Hey, Scottish dudes, you're just ready for me to give up. I'm just going on. I'm going to end with a bit of a rock and roll jam of fuzz with just one pickup. Oh, you've messaged me on eBay. That's fine. Yep, cool. Ibanez ATK bass. I don't know, but I do believe they do have one with 3 coils. Is that the one that I saw? Oh, I can't remember the name of the band. It's got like a Telecaster. Basically, it's got a bridge like this that actually takes the pickup in the bridge. Has it not got a 3-coil thing? Is it that one? I thought that was really cool. Like you drink a whole bottle of it, but I've been drinking Magnum as well, so it's kind of deceptive. What sort of vibe do you want me to try and play over in some sort of jam as I play out? I can't run for more than 2 hours. I get too excited and I might start saying things that I shouldn't be saying. That's when the racist side comes out. Not racist. But anyone who says they're not racist is. So maybe I am. I don't know. I think they look... I do think that... Basses are a funny thing. I think there's an awful lot of ugly basses. There's not that many that I like shape-wise. I like a P bass. I like an SG. Thunderbird, I suppose, maybe. But most of them... Planet Caravan, a slow Black Sabbath one. We played that in the band. It's dead easy. I remember when we did our first gig with the previous singer. This is 2 years ago. It was like, I'll play Planet Caravan. I was like, I need to rehearse it. And he's like, no, it's cool. It's just you just told me the 2 chords and just play along. And it's like, so the first time I ever actually really played it. I think we played it once in rehearsals and then 6 weeks later just played it at the gig because it was dead easy, but I can't remember what it goes like. I can play the bass to it. Boom. Yeah, give me some likes. That'd be awesome. Likes make it make the world go better. Helps me out when you like and subscribe. Oh, I forgot to mention, thanks everyone. I got to 1,800 subs last week, so the 2,000 sub thing's going to be not far off, and I managed to get to 1,000 on the 1st of the 5th, January, February, March, April, May, the 1st of May. So we're almost at the 1st of May again, so I've kind of almost doubled my YouTube count in a year. Rocking! I think all these things like the putting likes and liking and subscribing and commenting boosts me into the algorithm and gets me more exposure. I think you should time your live stream by Bucky stream. I kind of have been. It's like normally I've been online talking to folk you don't know in front of an audience on 2/3 of a bottle of Bucky is pretty dangerous. You know, it's like I don't really know what's going to happen. I'm enjoying this, so I think maybe when I get to a Saturday night, maybe a bit more, if we get some of you pure hammered as well, we can get some proper nonsense talks. In fact, was I not playing without having to do anything? Was that not? children. It's just a kiss away. Just a kiss away. Oh, children. It's just a shot away. Yeah, the mic better than the bucky as well. It doesn't work. There's some sort of there's something about the streaming thing that doesn't like this mic. Maybe if I talk here really louder, even then it's still not peaking. So thanks everyone. Again, keeping it down to under 2 hours. Eventually I'll get the hang of. Hey Fidel, sorry you've just joined at the last minute. You're gonna have to go back and join in. So next week, probably Saturday, same time, 8 o'clock. I don't know. Something like that. A good drinking time. That's what I used to always start drinking when I was back when I had friends and you were allowed to go round to the houses. 8 o'clock was the sort of standards, come round for 8 sort of thing. And plenty more videos coming this week, including tomorrow going to go and buy a bass described as the advert as what's 7:56. Oh, the time when I came on tonight? Probably, yeah. So, love you all. Like and subscribe. If I don't hear or I don't comment or reply to your messages, if you comment in one of the videos, try it again. Try deleting it and doing it again, because some of them I just don't get. Sometimes I get like, oh, Stephen Murray has commented in your video, and I click on it and there's nothing there. So, I don't know. I'm now feeling a little bit of a bit too drunk to play the guitar, whereas if I'd actually been playing when I started drinking, I think I would have been fine. Kind of tempted to take this guitar because it's so amazing. So Andrew, your guitar will be ready in a couple of days. I will get on to a couple of videos coming this week. Maybe I have to order parts for those 2 epiphones. What else have I got in? A few things, but I'll work it out when I get there. So rock on, and thanks everyone for being so what's the word I'm looking for? Supportive. Love you all. Rock on. Catch you later. If I didn't mention you by name, then I hopefully did. Take Neon and Andrew and George Jeff and the one who knocks Mr. White. Oh, I recognise that name. Ronnie and Steve Murray and Andrew. I'm just looking at the ones that I just looked at recently. And David Hill, obviously, how's it going? And Fidel Varabana, whoever you are, brilliant. Yeah. And Daniel and Ravensmead, you're all brilliant. Rock on, catch you later. And now I'm finally going to end. Goodbye. Nope, I've still got an option to say, do I want to end now? I do want to end now. Rock on, catch you later. Cheers.